competition, and I will not perhaps take Uber and take Ola instead. So in order to retain me, they are giving this customized thing. So this is related to all retention of customers. So these are some of the descriptions. But how to do it? Let us try to see. The data set that we will be using is a long-standing telecom customer data set which you can download from internet. This file name is called churn.csv. It is a standard, some American data. They keep on preparing it and keep it on net for some normal prediction or in an algorithm. So you download this file and keep this file in your local directory where you are running the Python program. Okay, that's the first thing. Please note. So, and then import pandas as PD, import NumPy as NP, and then churn df equal to pd dot read csv file name. What is this thing does? Hey, come on, follow. Read the CSV file from the local directory and load it to a data frame called churn.csv. So this is one single line which reads the entire file, puts it into a data frame. So any CSV file, I mean just going slightly up, any CSV file, no matter how big or small, one single line will read it and load it to a data frame. And then you can print the df head, okay, and the column names to see how the output looks like. This is the output that it will look like. It has the state, these are all American state, not Indian, account length, area code, the phone number, the plan, voicemail plan, and so on, daily usage, daily call. So there are so many columns, with the last column being all false. So because this is the column where I have to do the prediction. So these are all filled up with some fixed values. Now these are the data. Okay. And there are, sorry, actually, there are how many rows? Let me tell you. There are 5 rows in 21 columns for this header, but the actual data is much more. So this is how you first of all load the data. This is the first part. Now I showed you load the data 3 ways so far. Now how many of you will say what are the 3? One from the data set of iris, one is from active net connection, and this is the third where you have a file, a CSV file, and loading the data. Okay. Now we simply drop off some irrelevant columns and convert strings to Boolean. So churn result equal to churn, this NP where churn result equal to true, you put 1 and 0. So that means what I am doing, I am converting a true and false to 1 and 0. That's all. It's a one single line to fill up all columns. These 2 lines will do that. We don't need these columns to drop. So state, area code, column can't be dropped. And yes, no converted. So these are nothing but some of the columns that I am either keeping or removing them. Pull out features for future use. So this part only manipulates the data to as per what we want or what we require. Now this will be different for each one of you, depending on what data and what you want to keep and what you want to throw off. But this is an exercise which has to do. Now scale the data. Again, scalars, and then feature space holds how many feature array. The output here is 333 observations and 17 features. So what does it mean? That there are 3,333 rows but after this operation and 17 features that are there. 17 features is quite high. So far we were dealing with 2, 4, 5, that sort of thing. And unique target levels are 0 and 1. 0 and 1 means churn yes or no, I mean true or false. So that means feature is this many into this, target is 0 or 1. So that means only it's a binary classification. It's a binary classification. Thakbe na jana. Simple. So how good is your model? You express test cycle. A machine learning pipeline should be anything but static. So there are always new features to design, new data to use, new classifiers to consider, each with unique parameters to tune. And for every change, it's critical to able to ask, is this new version better than the last? So how do I do that? Now I have the data. Now which model to choose, how to play with it, and how to tune the parameters of each of the model. So far, we have been only using the default values of the model. We have not played around with the parameters of any one of them. Okay. As a good start, cross-validation will be used throughout. Cross-validation attempts to avoid overfitting. This is accomplished by systematically hiding different subsets of data while training a set of model. After training, each model predicts on the subset that has been hidden to it, evaluating multiple trace chemistry. So, as I said, cross-validation means you basically choose the test trend in a circular fashion. So, you choose a data, then shift it and so on. So, now let's use scikit library to do the same. So, cross-validation k-fold. Now, here they have done basically a function, written a function. Okay, just explain, please listen to me. Run, this is the name of the function with the x data, y data, CLF class. So that means what model, and args is nothing but this is equivalent to whatever argument you are giving after one. So first of all, construct a k-fold with n folds equal to 5 and then copy the prediction, iterate through the fold. So for train index in kf is this one, x train, initialize CLF and this, and then return y. I will explain this when you go to the next slide. Then basically what they are doing is, you look at this one, import 3 class of classifiers, okay, and then you say for support vector machine, that means for SVM, accuracy is y run CTA with x, y and SVC. And now you go here and you say x, y, and this class is getting changed every time. So in this case, thrice by SVC, RF and KNN. So that means I am basically with the same data, I am running 3 models. I am trying to do also a k-fold. K-fold is there. This k-fold. So that means for 5 times, for each of the model, it will run 5 times and give you a result. For each, so that means 3 into 5, 15 times actually internally it will run. Okay, and what you get ultimately is basically this result. Support vector machine 91, random forest 94, k nearest 89. So you can see that for your data, the model that perhaps would give you a better result is random forest. So now you have understood, I mean, how you can not only 3, I can here also have 3 more maybe, and then just use these 3 lines, 3 more, and you are passing this the module as a parameter to this function, which will run and print the accuracy. So precision and recall also you can measure, and you can also measure the confusion matrix using this. And what I am trying to do is, ultimately it produces a, you can produce a graph like this where support vector machine, random forest and k-nearest. So you get three things. Now important question to ask is, when an individual chance, how often does my classifier predict that correctly? This measurement is called recall, and a quick look at this diagram can demonstrate that random forest is clearly best for this criteria. Random forest predict class and fruit. Recall the maximum. Data out of all the chance cases, that is outcome one. Outcome one mane 8 part. 330 there out of 482 predicted correctly. This part. So that means 1 mane dekhane chilo 8. Whereas 8 hoche 215 and this is 167. So that means out of these also, this is also one way to find out of the three models which one is better. Because the existing data, I can test it and try to predict. So this is just reading. I am not going to go into very much details, but just to show that you can have three models to run to find out which is better. Okay. Now please note here, just one small thing. When I am passing this module, I am not using any parameter that I need to change. Now I am going to show you next, if possible, if it is there somewhere, that how to change a parameter inside that to give a better result. When I am choosing neighbors.kneighbors classifier and then fitting the iris data, it gives you the algorithm which is auto leaf size 30 metric equal to Minkowski, metric params none, in neighbors 5 and so on. Now these are the default values of k nearest neighbor. Now this, just as metric is Minkowski, there are three other types of nearest neighbor that you can calculate. Minkowski is one of the logic. So that means maybe for a particular error, you can change this Minkowski to say Euclidean. This is another one. Euclidean means pointed distances, square of that, just a triangle sort of thing. So that's called a Euclidean distance. Minkowski is different. So if I change this to Euclidean, the result will come different. So what I am trying to say is that by changing these parameters, say leaf size or neighbor, instead of 5 to 6 or so on, you can do also some jugglery and manipulation. If you don't do anything, if you don't just write like this, the default values are taken the way it is.
So how to get those lists of parameters which would be passed through that?
It is there in the sticky documentation. When you say here, say in the sticky documentation, say when you say this neighbors.kneighbor classifier, it gives you a set of all the parameters and their default values, and then you can change it. Say SVC. Look at this. So SVC is another model where this is the parameters which are there. Now this you can see as if that number of parameters in a model is not also fixed. They are varied and not common. One may have 5 or 6 parameters, the other may have 20 parameters, and totally different, not common. That height is included in that 20, no. So you have to actually go through the detailed description of that model and find out that where or what kind of parameter you need to do. I'm just trying to see whether last two small things I think before. Okay. There is something called a cheat sheet in Python. This is you can download from net. It's a in fact, 2-pager summary of anything and everything that you need to do in Python. Okay, now cheat sheet in Python, cheat sheet in PyDot, library, Panda, everything is available. So it is just a simple thing. Now, how to use it? Let's say, let me try to do it. What is the way to define a function or say print kilogram hoy, while loop, for loop kilogram hoy, and operations in dictionary, operations in list. So these are already there. So that means suppose when you are, believe me, when I actually write a program, I print this sort of a thing and keep it in front, because if I want to do any operation on list or dictionary, I just simply look at that and then write. This becomes very handy in that case. That's all. This is number one. Number two, I wanted to show you also similar cheat sheet for scikit-learn. It's a huge one. Again, a 2-page. Now you see, scikit-learn, there's a basic example given: loading the data, training the data, pre-processing, normalizing, and then finally create your model using these are the one linear, support, naive, KNN. So you can see how easily you can actually summarize the entire thing that I wanted to discuss. Unsupervised, some principle and KNN is there. How to fit the model, how to predict. So if you just follow these steps one by one, you will actually be able to do your thing almost mechanically but correctly. And then, so how to encode categorical values, input missing value, how to do the accuracy score, regression matrix, and so on, cross validation, how to tune. Now tune, here the parameters are there and you can change also. Some example parameters are there which you can change. Now let's say the second page, or is it a 1-page thing? It's a 1-page thing. So this is how you can have it. Okay, I mean, I'm not saying that this is very useful if you are writing a program and just looking up too many things. You can just look up this. But of course, the best method is whenever I at least write a program, similar thing. When I get stuck, you try to find it in the net. Someone has written. Maybe rightly, wrongly, from that you can get a lot of idea. So, this is, I wanted to, number of algorithms which are there in ML, not possible for anyone to even know and learn it, but at least you can try. But most common usage is this one. I mean, these are the most common ones that are used. Okay, I'll not go into any details further. I think basic thing. So I'll keep the session open and ask you if you have got any questions on either Python or ML. If I know, I'll try to answer. Are you taking only a video or a short also? No short? Then you can at least WhatsApp me. Not the video, a short. Anyway, so any questions, please? On either Python or on ML, whatever we have discussed. Interesting. If you don't have any questions, it could mean two things. One, neither you nor me have understood a single thing, which is most likely. And okay, the slides are there in this machine on the desktop. I'll request Dr. Mundul also that these slides you can freely take it. This is not a किसी का proprietary नहीं है, open source है. Taken from a large number of books and net only, maybe collected in a particular fashion. That's all. Any questions? But I would really seriously ask you that. Tell me, how many of you have a own laptop? Almost all. Okay. How many of you have Linux installed in your laptop? So those who haven't, I think by today end, you should have it installed. Now, you may feel that this is a rubbish, but believe me, make it dual boot, maybe Windows and Linux or only Linux. But if you don't work in Linux and enter industry or try to enter industry, you are in a deep trouble. Believe me that. I have worked in the industry and I know that that only knowing Windows will not help you, or anything that you know beyond that. So install Linux. Linux is freely available in net. You can try two very common popular distributions. Now, do you know what is Linux? Shall I call it? Simply, just simple. Okay, almost year-like question.
Many others have contributed to make different OS and free software.
Okay, maybe it is, if the answer was, I mean the mark was 100, I will give you 30. Okay. You see, helping the government to do a lot of things. Now, when Unix was initially created or developed, there were two versions to it. One was called AT&T Bell Lab, and the other was called BSD. Okay. Now, this then again went on. I mean, over the years, development, separate branches. Now, one such version of BSD is the Mac OS. Now, as he correctly said, the 30% part. Now, at that point of time, there was a point of time when all these versions of Unix and the different companies which came out with it, they were all proprietary and priced. Proprietary and priced. Okay. Then, Linus Torvalds, Linus, please note, Linus, S. Linus Torvalds thought that why there should not be a Unix which is not proprietary and not closed source. So what he did was, he created the Linux kernel, only kernel. Please note, kernel. Now I am not going to ask you what a kernel is. Hope you have passed OS class. Now Linux kernel and then a set of utils written by maybe n number of people. So this became what is called Linux. Now Linux, just like Unix, is not one OS, unlike Windows. Windows is maintained by one company, so it has own different versions and they give you the patch and so on. But this is not like this. So when both of them started flowing, and slowly after some time, most of these Unix versions died, because this was growing at a huge popularity, because this was open source and everybody tried to develop their own utility and give it to them. Now, among the Linux flavors that are available right now and very popular are Ubuntu, Fedora, and of course Red Hat. Now, Red Hat is a free but subscription based product. So that means you can use it, but if you want their help, they will charge you. You can download and use. But for the others, this is absolutely free. And there are several other type of OS which are versions of Linux. Now please note again, going back here, this kernel development and version management of kernel is still held by Linux, and it is not a proprietary. I mean, he controls it, but periodically it comes up with some new version of kernel. Now when the kernel changes, obviously this set of utilities also needs to be changed. So people write them down, and then some company like Ubuntu brings all those things into one particular distribution in a disk or in a NIC. So when you search in Ubuntu, you will find Ubuntu LTS maybe 16.04 or 17. I don't know what is the latest version. Fedora, like I know Fedora, the latest version is called 26. No, 25, 24, 26. That's not important. So what you do is you download that ISO image and install it in your laptop. Make it dual boot so that you can switch to Linux and Windows if you feel so. The advantage of this is, number one, any Unix or Linux distribution has a lot of inbuilt things which are free, like C, GCC, C++, Python, Perl, and so on. And you can also download some other program. Of course, Java is there, or you can download. There is something called Open Java, Open JDK, but the proprietary JDK is still from Oracle because Sun was purchased by Oracle. You can download that JDK also, which is 8 now. So version and install it and go ahead. But the point why I am trying to say that use Linux, try to know how to use it, try some of the utilities is unless you use it, you will be very much restricted to Windows kind of an environment which is not good in the sense it is when you join the industry or any company, they expect that you know both. So that is the first thing. And you can, there is a basic difference between say a distribution like Ubuntu and Windows. Windows inherently that you use in your laptop or desktop is a desktop OS. Whereas this is not a desktop OS by default. It is basically a server OS. So you can do anything and everything that you can do in a server in your PC. In fact, you can install Hadoop. You can install all those things that I said on the first day and try to run and see. In fact, you can, I don't know how many of you are aware of a term called virtual machines. Virtual machine is? Huh?
You can also run different OS on the same machine.
So that means in the same machine, I can try to have different multiple OSs. Okay, broadly yes. Now virtual machine can be done very easily by a lot of free utilities. One such is called VirtualBox, which is an Oracle product but free. There is also another company called VMware, which also sometimes gives it free, at least for testing. Now, VirtualBox, what is the advantage? Suppose I'll give you an example that then you will understand. Say I have installed a Linux and I have installed a VirtualBox on Linux. So I get basically, say, I make such virtualization in a machine if I have enough code. Do it, and that's it. I mean, anything else I don't have. Oh, there are too many. Just bring it out, whatever is your interest, search it. Maybe you will get 100 results. Search only the first 3, 4 and that's it. I mean, there are many, but I think there is Y hat. One of that was that. I mean, Y hat, HAT. But that is not the only. I mean, there are so many. Most of them are good. If you don't like it, read another. That's it. I mean, what is that? I have kept almost all the Neogy @gmail.com and my mobile number is 98300444173. This is my WhatsApp number also, madam. And this is my email ID. Now, in case if you call me and if I am not answering, maybe I am taking a class. So that's why that time I don't answer. But I call back later. That is number one. Number two, any point of time you can give me a mail. I always respond to a mail within a day. So at any point of time, if you feel that you need some help or discussion, just call me. Okay.